Good evening, let's call to order.
Christopher Espinoza.
Here.
Sherelle Fuller.
Here.
Carrie Pavasich.
Here.
Joanna Vasquez Drexler.
Here.
And Nancy Kupka.
Here.
Thank you.
We have a quorum, let's stand for the pledge.
I pledge my allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we'll start with our first reception of visitors.
We have no slips.
We have no slips, okay. We will move on then to the draft district goals and tasks.
Before we get into that, I have a presentation to make to the board.
Ooh.
As the board is aware, we were named as a green ribbon school from the U.S. Department of Education, and they sent us this cool plaque that
nice
I get
is
to
that?
now present to the board. So this is the culmination of that award. So I'll present it to you.
Thank you, but all the credit goes to,
It's actually an entire district award. It
yeah.
has to do, obviously, Jim Koliger and Kristen Kucharski led the application process, but this has to do with everything from health classes to food service to PE classes to green energy and fiscal responsibility. It's the whole organization is reflected in that award. So,
Well, congratulations to everyone. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
all right.
We need to start a wall.
Every time with fun awards, yeah, we'll do our best.
Yeah, we need to start a wall of all the accolades. So,
All right, district goals and tasks, obviously they build on the recently approved strategic plan. You can see we're starting to lay out some branding around that for next school year and sharing this with our students, our families, and the community as we come back. What we're focused on this evening is approving the tasks that have been worked on, first with members of the administrative and leadership team, and then ultimately back and forth over the last month with the board.
and I just want to say thank you for the changes. Very
So,
much
yeah,
appreciated.
here's the key changes that we made. One was an academic goal that reflects not only the academic potential of individual students, but the idea of growth and progress through the academic metrics, which were measured by at the state level, and of course our local academic metrics that Gina will report out on throughout the rest of the year. And then the other one we talked about was one that talked about building opportunities, change to create new opportunities. This was discussed at the last board meeting. So the first bullet was discussed with the board, a couple of board members and leadership team since the last meeting. The other one Mike raised at the last meeting. So this is up for approval tonight. Any questions remaining from the board on this one? And then we have a whole booklet for our staff as they return. The leadership team's been working on that with Jill leading the charge on it. So that as staff return, the focus of our welcome back message of staff this year will be built around the strategic plan and making sure that our staff understand what's contained inside of that. And then Arwen and Courtney are going to lead an activity with the entire staff on them internalizing the plan and then finding ways in which they individually can contribute to that work throughout the remainder of the next school year. So that's what our welcome back activity will look like with staff. That welcome back starts with administration tomorrow, with leadership team on Friday, and the entire staff on the 10th.
it just seems like it's gone by so fast. I mean, graduation was just last week.
Yeah, it feels like yesterday. Yes. All right. So any more questions on that? Are we good?
Thank you for the changes.
All right, Board Policy 1.30 and 6.10, we intended to bring to the board when we had the strategic plan approved, but it kind of just slipped off of our task list. Board Policy 1.30 and 6.10 capture the strategic plan. The board has already approved the strategic plan. This is where it's contained in board policy. Since this is more of a clerical update, we're recommending tonight that the board waive the first reading and approve this policy change. Since the board has already approved the strategic plan, this is just updating of language inside of the policy. Any questions on that? All right. This says exactly what I just said. I should have gone one more slide. All right, e-learning plan for emergency days. This is what we've called in the past the idea of like snow days, right? So for the last several years, we've had this. This is a continuation of the plan that we have in place. However, based on feedback that we received, if you remember, we did this once before the pandemic, then we had the pandemic, and then we did it twice this past school year because of bad weather. So we've really only done this 3 times. The feedback that we've heard about this is that based on what we learned during the pandemic, students can check in throughout the day, right? So it used to be students checked in once at the beginning of the day, got all their work, and then worked on it. Instead, we think we should make it more similar to a general school day. Students will check in at the start of each class period. Attendance will be taken by that classroom teacher. That will help them engage more throughout the day. They'll be in a virtual classroom with their teachers if they have any questions. Teachers will take attendance class by class. And it'll be like a regular school day. If parents want to call or need to call their students out, they can do that. So that's kind of the change we're making. Otherwise, it's pretty similar to what we've done before. Rob has been leading the work on this. Rob's actually led the way in this across DuPage County in a lot of ways. If you have specific questions, I'll turn them over to him to answer.
I think this is going to answer a lot of concerns people raised when we
Yeah.
had.
Yeah, because
Remote
once
learning,
they
yeah.
sign in the morning, they will.
Yeah, they get to see their student that day and lay out what's expected of them. The requirement in here from the state is that we have to allow some flexibility in there, so while they will see the teacher will explain what the goals are, and the teacher releases them, because on those days, some students have other obligations in the house that they need to attend to first.
So if I check in with you, my teacher, and then I need to talk to you about something, I have some questions related to something, I can ask to speak with you within that next.
Oh, yeah,
period.
teacher sticks around for as long as the students do.
Yep. And then is available monitoring for student needs throughout the rest of the day. Yeah. So the way that the process works for this legally is that we present it to the board now. Tomorrow, we will send out an email to all students and parents about this change. Then on August 15th, the next board meeting, we will hold a public hearing for anybody that wishes to address the board on this topic specifically before we take action, much like what we do for the budget. And then it follows the same rules, 30 minutes for a public hearing, up to 3 minutes per speaker, just like what's in board policy, but on this single topic. All right. The next agenda item is the year-end financial report, and we're going to turn this over to Jeree to lead most of the show here. You can just tell me when to advance.
Okay, sure. Well, the good news is that we ended the year with a lower deficit than what we had originally thought. Originally, we had thought we would end the year with our fund balances of about a $2.6 million budget deficit. However, we ended, maybe if we could start on,
Do you want me to go to
sure, I didn't know what order.
this one here?
Yeah, that's great, thank you. But you'll see, we ended the year with about $1 million deficit. And this good news is the result of some additional revenues that we received this year. We received an additional $1.3 million in replacement taxes. We received $150,000 in FEMA funding that we were not planning on receiving. We applied for FEMA funding last year and we were denied, but FEMA then opened it up again, and they did approve our application. Excuse me. And then we also received $260,000 more in, excuse me, the American Relief Plan money, which helped with offsetting some of our expenses. And then there's one, I guess we can go ahead and look at it right here, because the one item that I do want to point out that did cause some of the deficit is the reduction in our health benefit reserve account. We decreased that fund by almost $900,000 right there. We are meeting with the insurance committee to come up with a plan on how we can build that reserve back up. And part of that might include increasing the premium costs, maybe making some plan changes, starting in January. If you want to go to the expenditure page. Thank you. So you can see that our expenditures pretty much stayed in line with budget, which is the reason with that additional revenue that we were able to reduce that deficit that we had originally thought we would have at the beginning of the year. Those are the highlights that I have. I think Mark had a couple of other ones.
Yeah, actually, I mean, you hit more than half of the ones that I repeat here. Well, I mean, it's never a good, happy time to hear you're dropping in your fund balances, but we have built in, and through at least as long as I've been in the district, some safety nets, and that's one we already exercised, and that is we issued working cash bonds. So that's a $10 million swing that is going to help us through a couple of years where it might, be unstable like this. But we have a couple of really positive things. She mentioned the replacement tax. That came out of nowhere. All the business managers in DuPage County are saying, I got twice as much in replacement tax than I got the year before. The Department of Revenue doesn't answer the phone and doesn't have any kind of a statement on their website explaining it. But we do think it could be something that'll be sustained. It'll be 2 years in a row that it's gone up more than we've expected it to go in at high percentages. So that's a big thing. The good news is that our revenues for the year still were higher than our expenditures. It's just that we have a couple of things, unusual things this year. One is the health plan cost. That was an unexpected drop from about 900,000 to about 350,000. But it's still about 6% of the annual expenditures at that lower number, compared to what we normally would want as a base of about 8%, which would be 1 month of claims. So it's still not, for us, to budget our size, this is a pretty small problem to solve. We'll fix it in the insurance committee, probably by increasing premiums a little bit, but also possibly, like she said, changing our plan document.
Since we're talking about, this doesn't have anything to do with the HSA change we made.
No.
No.
That was supposed to save money, okay.
No, no,
Just
no,
making
no.
sure. Okay,
Yeah.
it would have been worse, okay, thank you.
We actually had high claimant claims for 2 years in a row, and so,
That's what it was.
Some of it may be COVID fallout, they told it, we questioned that from Hub, and they said, no, 4% is what they're recommending everybody, and we had more than that. So we had a higher claim experience.
Well, we had higher claims coming off of it, and then everybody experienced a rebound from the year when nobody was going to see their physicians because of COVID,
Yeah.
to then just everybody restarting, right? And then,
Preventative care.
so it was
things
that,
are
and
delayed.
then there was increased costs because of the number of visits due to a pandemic.
Yeah, and two more things. One is that the transfers, that's one of those unusual things. It's hitting this year, it's a $2.6 million. It's going to go down to about $400,000, and then it'll phase out as that goes on. So that's a real positive for us. It's a $2 million shot right back up. So we think we have this kind of under control and you'll see, we'll have more details and talk about it more later in the month when we have our our 5-year forecast, because that's really where you'll see that we're on safe ground, we're still good. One thing that is going to be a question that we have to resolve yet internally here is that how we're going to pay for the T99 expansion. And we have two options. One is to issue more debt service extension-based bonds. We have legal authority there to do that. Or we can use our working cash fund and pay a big piece of that into that. Right now, that's the one I'm favoring because it still gives us a safety net of issuing more debt service extension-based bonds without having to incur the interest costs right now by issuing it now. So I still got another month or so before I make the final decision with everybody, but I think that's the key thing. So we have safety nets, we have a way to get back on track where we should be going forward. It was a crazy year, really crazy. It was very difficult to follow all the stuff with the, FEMA and all the different things that we put into this one.
All right. Questions for Jerry or Mark?
You guys are doing a great job.
Thank you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Mostly
You're
Jerry.
keeping us on.
This is mostly Jerry putting this stuff together,
Yeah.
so.
I'm sorry,
You know
did
what?
you say something?
Oh, I just said good job, tag team.
Yeah. I just have one quick question. Are the gas prices in that affecting us a lot,
Well,
or?
It will be with our vehicles.
Right.
But all our buses are rented out, are leased out. Really, it's a nice thing, we have multi-year contracts on all of our gas and electric. And we're way below market right now, so we're real happy that we did that. I think we have one more year left on that lease. So that helped us get that award, because with electric, we went to 100% green.
Okay,
And we also have another long-term contract on that. So we're kind of surviving through it right now and hope that eventually they do start to come down again.
yeah,
But we're
because,
okay right now.
yeah, it's not pretty out there.
But it does affect our bus costs because we have an escalator built into the contract, anything over $3 a gallon.
Oh,
Yep.
yeah, and that's diesel, so that's, what is that now, about $5 gallon?
I
Actually,
think it's
Yeah.
around
I
there.
think it's
Yeah.
over.
Yeah,
yeah, but I'm not sure if it's diesel or not.
yeah, I don't know if all the
I don't know if our
buses
buses
are.
are diesel.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, all right. I don't know. So, okay.
All right. So we have 3 action items for the board to consider tonight.
Okay, moving along. First, we need a motion for the Board of Education to approve the June financial pages.
So
So,
moved.
second,
Chris and Terry.
Thank you. Christopher Espinoza,
Aye.
Terry Pavasich,
aye.
Joanna Vasquez Drexler,
Aye.
Cheryl Fuller,
Aye.
and Nancy Kupka.
Aye, the motion carries.
Thank you.
Next, we need a motion for the Board of Education to approve the draft district goals and tasks for the 2022-2023 school year.
So moved.
Aye.
Sherelle and Chris?
Thank you. Cheryl Fuller,
Aye.
Christopher Espinoza,
Aye.
Terry Pavasich,
Aye.
Joanna Vasquez Drexler,
Aye.
and Nancy Kupka.
Aye, the motion carries. And finally, we need a motion for the Board of Education to waive first reading and approve Board Policy 1.30 and Board Policy 6.10.
So moved.
Second.
Chris and Joanna?
Thank you. Christopher Espinoza,
Aye.
Joanna Vasquez Drexler,
Aye.
Cheryl Fuller,
Aye.
Terry Pavasich,
Aye.
and Nancy Kupka.
Aye, the motion carries.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on to the second reception of visitors. Do we have any slips?
We have
Still
no
nothing.
slips. Does anybody wish to address the board? All right.
Okay, then do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Terry and Joanna, all those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? We are adjourned.
All right.
Thank you.
All right,
See you back on August 15th.
yeah, yeah.
Good rest of your week, everybody.
No.